Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Hey, what's going on, y'all? So this week we have the Eredim boosting campaign, which we knew about, which we know we talked about, we mentioned last week, but it is here now. So how should you be maximizing this Eredim boost campaign? Well, be sure to like and subscribe to help support the channel and the continued growth of good vibes within the online sphere. First and foremost, the Eredim boost is not only just for enhancing your Eredim weapons, but it also applies to Nameless City. So you get RDR boosts and you get preset boosts plus 150, as you can see here, which is very great. Very good. So if you don't have an Eredim, or if you're still looking for that perfect combination, then this is a great time to be in Nameless City doing that regardless anyway, because you'll have the chance of getting high fixes and high presets. High fix, preset, fix the same thing. You have a good chance of getting those. So it works out in that regard. But this is a great time in general to do Eredims. Whether you want to level an Eredim up, which is, this is something that you could do. If you're still trying to move EX augments, or still trying to move augments over to a different series like a Wingard or something like that, then this would be a great time to really utilize that, because you can put all these augments onto the Eredim first. So you would need to level it, right? So that way you can have 7 augment slots. And then you could put all those augments onto that Eredim, and then you could transfer all those augments over to your other series, your Wingard or whatever you're transferring it to. So this will cut costs on upgrading the Eredim and all that stuff like that. If you're trying to go that route, if you have not, put your EX augments over to your other piece yet. And of course, this really applies to, those who are pretty much overriding their augments, right? Because a lot of us, we have these augments and then we're like, well, we don't really want to, just wipe our weapon with these EX and then re-put them on there and have the chance of them failing and stuff like that. So let's make an Eredim, and that's kind of what I've done. You make an Eredim first and then you put all of them on there. So that way, you can still use your weapon as intended if you want to, and then put this on there and then just swap it over like so. So that's one way to go about that. Otherwise, it's just, take advantage of this to make Eredim weapons. So remember that this is a very fine chance, because of how readily accessible Eredim weapons are. This is a very fine chance to make a lot of different weapons for different classes that you want to play. And these are all 11-star weapons, so and they'll all have pretty high fixes. You have Eredims out the wazoo dropping. You can get these easily, which means that you can gamble them on the fixes. So you can go in there, you can see if you can get a fix to level 1. Well, obviously you'll get a fix to level 1 to use an add preset skill. Or a fix to level 2, fix to level 3. It should be of zero consequence. It should be very easy to get a fix to level 3 right now. Like extremely easy. Like almost absurdly easy for the Eredim series. And it will literally cost you nothing, because you'll have all the Eredims. You'll fail some, but you'll eventually get to that 3. Like, it's getting a 3 right now should not be really difficult at all. A 3 minimum, so take advantage of that during this week. But this is a great way to really have an opportunity to try out different classes and to just have weapons for different classes, because you have these EX augments on these Eredim weapons already, which are strong augments. And then, you can put some lower stuff on there, some LCs, some trials or whatnot, to, make sure it keeps that potency up. And it will give you the opportunity to kind of play some other classes, especially if you have prioritized your units, like I always tell you to do. Always prioritize your units, because your units will last much longer than weapons do. So having strong units that allows you to fully just play on everything allows you a much more richer experience. So if that's what you've done, then that's a big one. But nonetheless, use these Eredim boosts to maximize what you have while you can. And so after the Eredim boost is over, we do get a similar boost to everything starting next week on the 19th. So you'll see here that we have a list of boosts. Of course, these ones aren't 75%, they're 50%. And they're pretty much like in half, because I think last time we got this boost, these, like the preset ones, was 10%, so these are 5%. But nonetheless, they're boosts and they're here, so they're still huge boosts to have. So if you're trying to level up something else, then this would be a good time to level up that stuff. Or if you're trying to potentially get some fixes on your Wingard or whatnot, or try to do something of that sort, then this would be potentially a good time as well. But that is next week. This week is only the Eredim series, so focus on that for this week. And then down here, you'll see this little section about Quest Conquer SP Scratch Ticket Rush campaign. This doesn't start till next week as well, but it's on this page, and it pretty much just tells you that you can get 2 a day for free by doing some limited time daily tasks. So take advantage of this next week, or we'll be sure to remind you next week. In one of our videos, we'll mention it. But that's there for an advance notice, right? Then in terms of the Sonic LTQ, so we have the Sonic LTQ. We spoke about this, of course. This is the Alio one, but now it's in Eredim. So this is pretty neat. So one of the biggest things to note here, or maybe the biggest thing to note here, is that the dual quest augments drop in here, 1 through 3. The Formido, the Duela, and the Eresis all drop in here. They only drop by like 2 or so, but nonetheless, this is still, they drop here. Like regardless, nonetheless, they drop here. So that's a very huge, especially for people who maybe don't have dual quest gear available or ready or whatnot. You can get them in here very easily. But like I said, they're only 2, and the LTQ takes you a good amount of time. If you really were trying to get these, you could do dual quests, and you could get 5 of these in, they take like a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops, right? So if you're trying to be efficient with it, then obviously dual quest is still by far the better option because you get 5 per run, assuming that you're S ranking it. But for those of you who may be newer or don't have dual quest gear ready, then this is a great time to be running this LTQ to get that as well. And of course, you have your standard rewards like wing guards and Inias in here, and camos and those things of the sort. You'll see Gigas 4s in here that can be used to make augments. So there's always an assortment of items, of materials in here in these LTQs that you can use for augment making and for crafting and for things of the sort. So keep that in mind for that. Run this LTQ. There are no tickets in this right now, so that of course kind of makes it not as appealing, right? Because there's no tickets in it, and generally, people like running these LTQs for tickets because usually that coincides with SG points, so SG tickets. So that's why people like to run those. But there's no tickets in here, so yeah. And then lastly, on the subject of dual quests, that is also a usage that you could have for the Eredims during this week. It would be a great time to level up an Eredim weapon for dual quests. So that's just a little hint right there, just a little key little focus there that you may have not thought about. But if you don't have, or you're still using maybe a Neo's Astron, you have a bunch of DeFi augments sitting around. There was a bunch that were in the seasonal shop that just ended, so you might have a whole bunch sitting around. Then this would be maybe a good week to upgrade one of those old weapons from DQ1, that was a Neo's Astron, and have higher performance, maybe quicker times or whatnot with that. But that's completely up to you. If you're comfortable with what you have and your dual quest augment setups and your dual quest gear setups, then don't worry about it. But it's there to be recommended for those who can and want to take advantage of that and who need to take advantage of that. So that's why we mentioned it. That's about wraps it all for today. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will see you on the next one. Much love. Holla.
Spike to content.